Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, good evening. I'd like to call our work session to order this evening. We have quite a light docket, but we do have a couple guests that would like to address council this evening. We'll start with Amy, that Diane just informed me about as a potential part-time replacement for when you're on vacation or else out of the office. So if Amy, if you'd like to come forward, just introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Amy Smith. How's everyone?
Hello.
Good.
So, I work at the Y. My father is security here, Lapeer Smith, and I am just going to be a fill-in whenever Miss Diane needs to take some time, or if she's sick or whatnot. I'll be the one to kind of help keep things moving along.
Excellent. Will you be attending future meetings to kind of see how we do things?
Yes.
Great. Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Nice to see you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And next we have Debbie Busby from Chamber of Commerce with a presentation.
It's on. I think she.
Is it all right if I speak up here? Yes, okay. Can you all see? Pardon me?
Turn the mic on.
Okay.
So she can,
Okay.
that way she gets it recorded.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect. All right. First of all, my name is Debbie Busby. This is John Picard, and I'm here to talk to all of you about a project that we've been working on, an idea that we have for downtown Massillon that we think would be a real benefit to the community. As you can see, we're calling it Wayfarer's Way, Bridge to the Past. Most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Umbrella Alley in Louisville, Ohio. It's a beautiful little alley. They've taken it, they hang umbrellas on it, and it's been a phenomenal source of revenue for the community. Not only is it a pretty alley to look at, sit in, and walk through, but it's also driving economic development in that particular area. If you look on some either the airports or some of the Visit Canton and Ohio State information, you'll see that they're showcasing Umbrella Alley. So people will look to come visit the Umbrella Alley, and what they'll do is they will also look to see where is there to eat and play and drink as they come to see that particular alley. So there was a group of us that got together, and then we decided, what is our Umbrella Alley? We wanted to know what was it that we had in Massillon that could drive traffic, that would showcase something that we have outside of football to drive people into our community. So in doing so, we realized that transportation was a very big, a big part of our history. Transportation not just in the canal, but also in the railway, and also with the buses and the trains, etc. So once we realized that transportation was an important part of Massillon history, there was the group of us, which was made up of Holly from Downtown Massillon Association, Alex Kuhn from the museum, myself from Massillon Main Street and the Chamber, as well as John Picard from John Picard Architects, and then also Margie Vogt, who is a local historian. So once we realized that transportation was what we wanted to do our theme on, Margie told us about a bridge that was at Crystal Park Trailhead. And the bridge is part of the cantilever. It's a cantilever bridge that's part of our history. So, let's see. There's a lot of information that has to do with transportation when it's the canal boat, it's got the railroad, it's got the Russell steam engine, we've got the Jewel automobile. I know this is a lot of information on these particular slides, and I don't want you to think I'm giving you a history lesson, but I just wanted to show all of you what type of information has to do with transportation and the history in our community. There's an awful lot here. I tried to narrow it down, but made it a little bit difficult. So John Davenport, if you know who he is, John Davenport not only invented the cantilever bridge, which is that bridge that we found that Stark Parks owns at Crystal Springs Trailhead, but he and his brother invented the cow catcher. do you know what a cow catcher is? Okay, the thing on the front of a train that pushes a cow off the track. So every time we turned another corner, we found more information that had to do with transportation and our community. So here's the bridge as it sits currently at the park. It's just sitting there. It looks pretty sad. The parks really didn't have a plan for it. So when we realized that we wanted this particular bridge to be the focal point of the alley, we reached out to Stark Parks to find out how to go about getting a hold of this bridge and what do we need to do. We knew we needed it, we wanted it to be a part of it, but we weren't exactly sure what to do with it and how to make it look presentable and really nice. So that's where the group of us reached out to John, and John took our idea, which was not good, because we wanted to put it as an arch connected to the two buildings, and put together a much better idea for how to represent this bridge and put it within the alley. So this is a video of the alley. Keep in mind, this video is going to show you what the drawing is now, but it's not to scale. So there are some things in there that aren't exactly to scale. Darn it. I love technology until it doesn't work. Okay. Okay. Can you see it? You've seen it before. Yeah. Can all of you see it, or do I need to tilt it?
This alley, is it on the, sorry.
This is,
I know, is that north?
It is
North.
north, yeah, it is north on Postal Place, so it's across the street from the Sangria stand and Hideaway Tavern, that particular alley.
Across the street.
Right, across the street from it. So right now, we're in the process of getting possession of the bridge. So the bridge is currently still in the possession of Stark Parks. Now, they have submitted what they are calling a memorandum of understanding so that the city of Massillon can gain possession of the bridge, and therefore we would be able to use that bridge for this alley. We're still working out those details.
Just to go back a couple steps, because this is very involved. So we started this project in...
About a year and a half ago, yeah.
It was 2023 when we just started thinking and talking and dreaming. And then wondering how to put our dreams, and none of us being architecturally or industrial or engineeringly inclined, how to make this come to fruition, which we pulled John in, and it was fabulous. But we did talk with the administration at the time when we first had the idea, before we even took baby steps, to say, this is what we're thinking about. How do you see this working for the city? And then when the new administration came in, we spoke as well, saying this is in the works, this is in the hopper, just to be sure that we weren't getting ahead of anybody else. There were other people other things that we need to have in place before we started dreaming too big and asking for the funds. Some things that are helping, and Debbie will get to it, I'm sure, but some things that are helping to spur this along is that our bicentennial is next year for Massillon, 200 years, and it's America 250. So there's funding opportunities at the national level that we're anticipating and hopeful for and trying to get on lists of and have in our radar so that we can get the funds to make this happen. But we knew that the property owners on either side needed to be spoken with and to be, amenable to having this happen. And she'll talk about what it means for them, which is only attractiveness, not any liability, and then to have the administration on board as well.
Yeah, so what, the project, we have a budget of about $500,000 to bring this to fruition. So that includes, all the work that is needed to not only make the alley presentable and to remove the blacktop that's there, to put
We've got storm lines underneath that need to be replaced. So we'll take care of all that as part of the renovation.
So, and also, in looking into this, I couldn't find that the white thing that is at the end, where that picnic table sits at the end of the alley, is supposed to represent a canal boat. Well, I went to the city, or to some friends that work for the city of Canal Fulton and said, where do you guys get replacement canal boat parts? And, because I couldn't find it, I Googled it, couldn't find it. Well, they happen to have a canal boat that is out of commission, that's in bad shape. Well, they're willing to give us, I'd have to go talk to their city council and talk to their mayor, et cetera, but they're interested in giving us that canal boat so that we could use it for this alley, because they have no use for this, but they don't want to give it to somebody who's just going to take it apart and destroy it. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but that's pretty exciting that a neighboring community is willing to help us out and give us a piece of their history to include in a pocket park that we hope to put together to represent our history. So the project funding, as I had mentioned, is about $500,000 to bring this to fruition, and that is assuming we pay for absolutely everything that needs to be done for this project. We are hoping to reach out and have in-kind donations, just as John has done, where he did all the architectural work and all the drawings without charging us. We do have companies that are willing to move the bridge, clean the bridge, paint the bridge without charging us or charging us a minimal. So we are going to be reaching out to companies within the Massillon community to help us maybe bring that $500,000 project bill. Maybe we can cut it in half. Maybe we can cut it into 2/3. I'm not quite sure. At this point, we do have $65,000 already raised, and that is in the form of grant money that we have applied for, and we'll continue to apply for additional grant money that might be available out there. I'm also going to be taking my little video on a road tour and start begging for money. So we're going to be asking anybody and everybody, and that includes the community. This is their community too, and if they can give us $20, they can give us $20,000, whatever it is that we can garner from the public to bring this to fruition and bring this to life. It will help. It'll help us all. I mean, it'll be such a positive boon to our community. And I had reached out and talked to not Stark Parks, but Visit Canton and then Arts and Stark, because I wanted their opinion. And on the first drawing, they told us that there were no Instagrammable moments. And it was too industrial looking. It's like, well, I know what an Instagrammable moment is, but I wasn't really sure how they were wanting to pertain that to our alley. And they said that the alley needed to have a way for people, what is going to cause people to take pictures and drive more traffic to our community. So that's where part of the 3D portion of the alley is in place, is to get, like you see the bus and you saw the person sitting in the bus. That bus is going to be strong enough and made out of material, just kind of like the jungle gyms and the things in the playground, so that people and kids will sit inside the bus or sit inside the train or sit inside the cars, so that they'll take pictures and people will go, where is that? And then they'll want to know where's there to eat and drink and play, in addition, if I'm going to come look at this alley. So,
Question. In this picture, it shows that electrical stuff.
we're going to ignore that. Because we can't do anything with it. We're
We
going to.
can't move it.
It would be a real challenge. I mean, there might be a way of giving it a coat of paint to help it disappear a little bit better. But in our bridge stops probably 12, 15 feet short of it, so we think we can kind of push it away. That's beyond the opening of the alley, so in a perfect world, love to see it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the bridge in there is going to be high enough, the pylons, or whatever those things are called, that the bridge is sitting on, are much higher than they show in the picture. So that you will be able to drive, John designed it so that you can drive a truck underneath it, just in case anything has to be done to that alley. We can get a truck in, down that alley.
Back to the comment about the Instagrammable moment. So Umbrella Alley in Louisville is the #1 most photographed spot in Stark County.
For now.
For many, yes, until ours is ready, which is a tribute to them. But again, they just took an idea that they saw in Portugal, I think is the original one, and brought it into Louisville and threw up some umbrellas, and boom, they're having a wonderful benefit because of it. So I'm really passionate that we can do that as well. and going back to the people who know, Visit Canton is our tourist bureau. What is it going to draw those people to Massillon from Stark County and beyond? Because we know that our economy will flourish when we have other people's dollars coming into town and not just our own. In connection with that, Massillon Main Street and DMA and others have been working on some wayfinding initiatives through the street department as well to have signage placed on the highways. So we're doing things that handhold and are in connection with each other to pull those people off of 21 to the historic downtown, to the Massillon Museum, and to the other sites of interest. So again, that we get more attraction into our community.
Any other question? Yes, Michael?
First, I just want to say, what a wonderful idea. Amazing, I think. I fully support that. I'm so glad that someone took the initiative to do something like this. And I love the tie into the history and transportation to Massillon. I just think it all just seems to fit so well together. Question about the bridge. Does the bridge need to be modified at all? Does it fit in the alley as it
It does
is?
fit, yeah.
Okay.
The bridge is about 60 feet long, so it won't take up the entire alley. The alley's longer than that. The bracing you see on the top in the photograph, that doesn't exist yet. We're putting that on there so that we can put a screening fabric. So again, this is a place where you grab your lunch at vendors and go sit at the picnic table if you choose to.
Right.
One of the things I'd like to note from an urban design standpoint, one of the biggest problems every city has is getting people from parking lots that are behind the downtown environments to the front. So this is a linking alley. We want
This would be a walk-through.
to walk through, feel safe. You see the photograph of what's there today. I've seen far worse alleys, but this is not a comfortable place at night to walk through.
Sure.
This will all be lit and taking care of that.
I'm interested in the bridge still. So it was invented by a Massillon person. In its current location, was it actually used there or did it get moved there?
I want to say, for some reason, I remember Margie saying it was actually used there.
It was
at one
used
point.
close, but not at Crystal Springs. But when they took it out of wherever it was used, they put it there.
They
And
just
it
said-
is
It's in the mud.
feet into the dirt.
They just set it there because they had nothing
For
else to do with it.
decades. Yeah, it's been there for decades. Yeah,
You know, I've ridden past it many times on the towpath, but I didn't realize the history.
yeah.
Neither did I, until
No.
Margie had mentioned it. We were just sitting in our
Yeah.
very first meeting, and we, took a trip. It's like, let's go down there and check it out. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so, one of the hopes is that it'll inspire our young people as well, is look at these were all kids hanging around here in Massillon, doing the things that kids do, and they went on to, we have people who were aerospace engineers, people who, invented this, Russell steam engine was here for many years, and all these other, the cow catcher. I mean,
We had
Maybe not the
car
most humane.
manufacturer. I think it was 1913, we had a car manufacturer in
Yeah,
Massillon.
yeah.
Made 1,000 vehicles. There's 8 of those cars still left.
Yeah.
So, or remaining. So, yeah, there's a really great history of transportation, and I had no idea.
And the museum, Alex is part of this. I don't remember if you mentioned her in the beginning, but so also we'll have placards on the installation, where there are installations, for lack of a better word, but on each of the vehicles, we'll have a placard about who and what and where, and then also some kind of QR code or however it works, linking back to the museum for whatever they have in their archives. And then that's going to help our museum in their attractions as well, and then just inspire people about our great town.
Julie, did you have a question?
I was going to ask if we were going to have some type of placard
Yes.
explaining history and things like that.
Between-
I think this is great, but that's what I was just going to ask, so thank you for answering it, and I don't have to ask it.
Yeah, so between the
Thank you very
sponsors,
much.
they'll have placards, the larger sponsors, as well as, the history, so people know it's more than just pictures. We want them to learn a little bit about our community as well. Seth?
So, is there anything you need from the city, or?
Right now, we're working on the memorandum of understanding, or the contract from Stark Parks. So we're just working on the details, making sure that everything is okay for the city in order to, so that the bridge can go from Stark Parks to the city. It can't go to Massillon Main Street, which is, this whole project is under Massillon Main Street, which is a 501c3. It can't go to Massillon Main Street, because if it goes to a private entity, then it has to go out for bid. So it must go from public entity like Stark Parks to a public entity like the city of Massillon. So we're waiting on that to be taken care of, and then we're hoping that that little alley becomes a pocket park that can be designated as a pocket park. We don't want it to be, what's the thing where we divide? Vacated. We don't want it vacated because we don't want the ownership of the alley to go to the property owners. Not because we don't want them to have it, but because we want to maintain control of the alley so that we can always make sure that it looks nice, and whatever needs to be done down the road to maintain the alley should be under the park system. We're hoping. Yes.
So the city will be responsible then for keeping it clean in that?
If it's under the parks.
It'll be under the Parks
Yeah.
Department?
We're hoping.
So those are the pieces, this is why I asked, when I first saw this presentation, that's why I asked Ms. Busby to come. Those are all details that will have to get worked out as we go. You know, is it going to be a park? Is it going to be just city property? Those kind of things. I think most of this, I've been playing around, like all the different steps that are going to happen. In my opinion, and I could be wrong, most of this will be able to happen under the authority of the mayor and probably won't necessarily need a lot of our input or decision-making because he would have authority to execute certain things. But if there is a change in designation as to, you know, how that alley is zoned, you know, things like that, those would be things that the mayor would then have to come and collaborate with us and possibly see legislation be drafted for it.
And we wanted to make sure that all of you knew about it, because as I'm out there talking about it, more and more people are going to be knowing about it, and they're going to start to ask you about, about the alley and the bridge, and you're going to go, what are you talking about? Doesn't sit well with, if city council is not familiar with the project.
One other piece, while Mayor Slutz makes his way up here, when we spoke with the property owners and then in the design that Mr. Burkhardt drafted, the external buildings that are there won't be incorporated in any way. So we will clean them up and fix them up and make them more beautiful, but the installations or the placards or none of our items will be attached to their buildings, so they don't have any kind of liability or involvement that way.
And we didn't want to have to worry about if we nailed something to their wall that our project was going to damage their building, so we kept everything off their buildings.
Good evening, council. Thank you. First of all, I think this is a great idea. I love the idea. We've met numerous times about this. Our law department, however, has some legal questions and concerns about the responsibilities of maintenance. If somebody were to climb on that and fall and get hurt, is it the city's responsibility, or would we be the one to be, caught up in a lawsuit? Or would it be Main Street? Would it be the chamber? Who it would be? So there are some questions about this, that they are working on, the law department's working on. But it is a great idea. I think it would be a great idea to bring people to downtown. So I just wanted to share with you some of the issues that the law department are kind of working out to make sure that we can make this happen together.
Thank you so much for giving me and John and I time to present the project.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well played.
All right.
No play. That's good.
Go ahead and get into our regular session, starting with community development. Councilwoman Creamer.
Thank you. I have nothing for community development.
Okay. Economic development, Councilman Ray.
Thank you, Councilman Gregg. I have nothing for economic development.
Health, welfare, and building regulations, Councilwoman Cunningham.
Nothing this evening to report.
Parks and Recreation, Councilwoman Harwig Smith. Welcome back again.
Thank you.
Did you could be here?
I have nothing this evening for Parks and Recreation.
Thank you. Police and Fire, Councilman Markham.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. Public Utilities and Environmental, Councilwoman Brian Huth.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay, Rules and Courts, Civil Service is my committee. I have nothing for this evening. Streets, Highways, Traffic and Safety, Councilwoman Packley.
There's one new legislation that was proposed. I have it here. And thank you, Councilman Gregg, sorry. Please prepare legislation to authorize the Director of Public Safety and Service to sign the preliminary participation legislation with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the resurfacing project PID 113028. This is for State Route 241 or Finfrock, southwest from the city corporation to Erie Street, and then from there going north on Erie Street to Tremont to be resurfaced, and then also at the bottom of the viaduct in front of Dunkin' Donuts, basically, State Route 172, Lincoln Way, viaduct to Erie Street. And Mr. Pitts, if you'd like to please come up to answer any questions.
Before we do that, Mr. Pitts, excuse me, we need to acknowledge that we have the mayor from the city of Massillon and Alex Pitts, city engineer, all 9 council members, including the council president,
Thank you, Diane.
for the record.
Thank you, and good evening, council. I just handed to Councilman Lewis an 11 by 17 sheet that basically explains visually exactly what Councilman Packley had described in the legislation. So it's the limits of the resurfacing of the project. It's an ODOT-led project because of it being a state route. It'll stop at the Tremont and Erie Street intersection because we just did from Tremont all the way up to Lincoln Way in a previous project, and then pick back up and then go all the way to the viaduct along Lincoln Way. So hopefully the map clearly depicts the legislation request. So,
Excuse me, Mr. Pitts, the map shows that it's going all the way from where Finfrock intersects with Erie Street, all the way to Lincoln Way. But it just says to Tremont.
yeah, so ignore that portion. So
Okay,
the
no
legislation is correct, yes.
Okay.
So for simplicity purposes,
Okay.
I just didn't break the line in the PDF when I was drawing it, that's
Right.
all.
No, that's
So,
fine. That's
Yeah, so
And then,
from Tremont to Lincoln Way will not be done because it was just done 2 years ago, so.
okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And then I did have one question, right, but there's a cost to the city associated with this project?
There will be a cost associated with the project similar to Lincoln Way West. The project is slated to be bid out March 12th, 2026, so during the budget season, we will figure out how much we're going to need. ODOT has an estimated cost that we should put forth. It's about 30% of the project. However, I have emails back and forth between me and ODOT regarding that cost that they had put forth. 'Cause quite frankly, I don't believe that it should be that much. It's more than what Lincoln Way West was, and Lincoln Way West is a different story because we had to replace a lot of curb ramps within that project limits from 32nd to the viaduct. That was the bulk of where the money was being spent. There's not that many curb ramps along Erie, not nearly as many. So a lot of their cost is going into pavement repair. So it's basically the base is deficient, so they're trying to restore that. So I'm trying to get that cost a little bit lower, but preliminary, their cost is 30% of the project, which they're stating is $406,000. Again, I believe it's going to be significantly significantly less than that, but we'll see. So,
Go ahead. Julie?
Thank you, Councilman Packley. Alex, how far on 241 does it go up? I see baseball fields. Is that all the way up to like Community Park?
it'll go all the way to the corp limit.
All the
40.
corporation?
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good.
Yep. So that black dotted line there is basically, it's the layer on GIS that shows the corporation limit of Massillon there, so.
Oh, okay.
And there is a corporation city limit sign there on the roadway, if you were wondering if you were to drive by. Any other questions?
No, that's good. That was a thumbs up.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Mr. Gregg. I think I stepped out of my line.
No, you didn't. It was your committee, you're leading it.
Can I have one more?
You may.
Do we have any idea how much we're going to have to contribute to the project, or do we have to, or is it all paid for through the?
So they're saying 30%. So right now, they're predicting that we are going to have to spend $406,000. I think it's going to be significantly less than that. To be quite honest, I'm thinking around 150 to 200. So that's what I'm shooting for. But again, this is the state's project. They're telling us how much we have to put forth. No matter what, we have to put 20% of the resurfacing into our budget. So they're paying for 80% of the surface course, we pay 20%, for example, so. But I just know from Lincoln Way West, when we did that one, the bulk of the project was the curb ramps and the concrete work, so, including sidewalk and adjustments to utilities, so there's just not nearly as much that needs to be done on Erie Street, especially since the state just redid all of those the last time that they repaved it, so.
Oh, sorry, one more quick question. So underneath the train bridge, would that be, have there been any flooding issues with that underneath there in near time?
Not that I know of. I mean, I've driven by there during a pretty heavy rainstorm, and I saw there's catch basins there, and they seem to be
Okay,
working to me, so.
all right, thank you. Okay,
Okay.
but hold on.
Oh.
Mr. Ray?
Thank you. I had a question. Is this attached to the repairing of the storm drains underneath the area, or it's just resurfacing?
No, it's just purely resurfacing.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you very much. Finally, we have finance with Councilman Lewis.
Yeah, I will say that, if my memory serves me right, this is the third time in 12 years that I can say no business.
All right, with that, Mrs. Cunningham.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Gregg. I just want to report that I will be gone the next 2 Mondays. Thank you.
All right, with that, we are adjourned.